Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I want to thank everyone who's already subscribed. If you know someone who hasn't, go ahead and tell them to watch this video and make sure that they click the subscribe button. Alright, so this video I've been putting off for a very long time. It's going to be a two-part video. So this video is going to be all about when I found out I was pregnant and just how my pregnancy went. So for those who don't know, I'm 22. I'll be 23 in November. And I got pregnant when I was 21. I found out I was pregnant on a Friday. And what makes it so ironic is that I worked at a daycare at the time. And so we were on the playground, me and a few other teachers, and I was just talking about how bad the kids were. I was like, they are so bad. Like, I do not want to have kids anymore. I don't want to have kids anytime soon. And that same Friday, I took a pregnancy test and I was pregnant. So let me, rewind a little bit. So ever since I was younger, I always thought that 30 was ancient. I thought if you were 30, you was old as dirt. And there was no point in you trying to have kids to do anything else. Now, of course, in, today's world, today's society, everyone knows that's nowhere near the truth. People are waiting longer to have babies or waiting longer to start families or whatever. So that was just me being young and immature, and that's how I thought. And I always said that I wanted to have my kids young and that I wanted to have them around 24, 25. So fast forwarding back to me being at work, talking about, I wanted to have kids, but I don't want to have kids anymore. These kids bad, and I don't have time for that. So prior to me taking the test that same day and finding out I was pregnant, I missed my period, but my period has never been normal. So me being late on it, that was, nothing to me. I wasn't throwing up. I didn't have any of those, common symptoms. My stomach was still small. I ate about the same. My appetite hadn't changed. The only thing that stood out to me that made me want to take a pregnancy test was that I was tired. I was tired all the time. And I went to MTSU. So I was still in school, and every time I went to campus, I always made sure I looked my best. I did my makeup every single day, or most days. I made sure my hair was always done. I made sure my outfit was always tight. Like, I really cared about my presentation. And I just used to wake up and not care. I didn't used to care how my hair looked. Like right now, I don't care how I look. I didn't ever feel like putting on makeup. I just was always tired, and nothing had changed. I was working the same amount of hours. My workload with classes wasn't any heavier. So that was like a flag for me. I'm like, dang, like, why am I tired all the time? Like, I know I'm lazy and, stuff like that. But I was like, dang, I'm always sleepy. I don't want to do nothing but stay in the bed. And it's like I just didn't care about anything. Like, nothing fazed me. I cared about nothing. And so when I got off work that day, I was just like, let me just see. Like, let me just see what's up. So when I got off work, I bought a test and I took it. And before I took it, I wasn't really thinking nothing of it. I'm just like, yeah, like, it may be positive, it may be negative, it is what it is. I kind of didn't feel a way about it. But, of course, I was a little anxious. So I took the test, and it's like as soon as my pee hit that stick, that second line instantly showed up. And I was just like, wow, like, this doesn't say I'm pregnant. But I can't say it didn't hit me, but it kind of just didn't faze me. I was like, it was like an aha moment. I was like, okay, that explains why I don't care about anything, and I'm tired. I'm pregnant. So, of course, as soon as I find out, I'm trying to call my boyfriend. I'm blowing his phone up. He was at the gym playing basketball, so his phone was like in his gym bag, whatever, so I couldn't get in touch with him. And so I knew I wasn't finna tell my mama and daddy. Like, I was scared to tell them. I said, they're going to be the very last people to find out. And then, and then what's also ironic about that is the fact that I used to joke with my mama. I was like, yeah, Ma, if I ever get pregnant, I'm not telling you until I'm in labor. And she was like, girl, no, you're not. Don't play like that. Don't say that. You better not. I'm like, no, Mom, I'm serious. Like, if I get pregnant anytime soon, like, I'm not telling you until I'm finna push that baby out. So that was like a joke me and her had going or whatever. So after I couldn't get in touch with my boyfriend, I called my best friend, Alex. I called her, and she was at work. I called her, And if I'm not mistaken, she didn't answer the first time. So she had texted me like, I'm at work. What's up? So I'm just like, no, like, you need to call me right now. So, like, a second later, my phone ring. It's her. She's like, what's up, boo? Like, I'm in the bathroom. I'm at work. What is it? And I said, I'm pregnant. And she was like, stop playing. No, you're not. I said, no, Alex, for real. Like, I'll send you a picture of the stick. Like, I'm pregnant for real. And she's just like, Monica, stop lying. I'm like, I wish I was, but I'm not. So, you know, she was the first person to know. My boyfriend would have been the first person, but he was hooping. He didn't answer, so he wasn't the first person to know. And so I tried to call him again after I got the phone with her. Still no answer. So then I believe I told my other best friend, Jamaris. I think he was second to know. And so my boyfriend, he ended up being third. So I think it still didn't hit me just yet that, okay, like, you pregnant. That means you gotta gain weight. You gotta plan for a baby. You know, I wasn't thinking that far ahead just at that moment. So he left the gym. He finally called me back like, what's up? You know, you blew my phone up. You okay? You straight? What's up? And I was like, I took a pregnancy test and I'm pregnant. And now that I think about it, I don't even think I even told him I was going to take one before I took it. I think it was just like a spare of the moment thing. I got off work, got a test, took it, bam. And so he didn't believe me. He like, no, you're not. No, you're not. He's like, you need to take one. I need to see you take it. I need to see you take one. So I went to his house that same night, and I took a test. It came back positive. For some reason, he was still delusional about it. He's like, nope, you're not pregnant. Take another test. So I ended up taking 3 tests. I took the one that just had the lines, you know, the 1 line not pregnant, 2 lines pregnant. And then I think I got a clear blue. You know, those are the ones that says pregnant, not pregnant. And so it was like a 2-pack. And so both of them said pregnant. He was still in disbelief. He's just like, oh, no, like, you can't be pregnant. Like, you're not pregnant. I don't believe this. And in my head, I've already accepted it. After the first test came back positive, I wasn't skeptical about it. I wasn't like, oh, I need to go take like 12 other tests and be sure. Like, once I got that first result that said I was pregnant, I was like, I'm pregnant. I had no doubt about it because it explained why I have been feeling tired and didn't care about anything. So we had, you know, discussed like, okay, how we gonna tell our parents? And I was shaking. Like, that's what made me really, I guess, understand like, wow, like, you pregnant. That means you gotta tell your folks. And I'm just like, oh no, I can't tell them. I can't tell them. I'm like, they're gonna cuss me out. They gonna, oh, I was like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And so we were just, you know, looking at different options or whatever. And I didn't believe in abortion. So I'm just like, dang, like, I don't want to abort my baby because stuff weighs really heavy on my conscience. I can't do nothing and not regret it or have it just sitting like right here and right here. I can't do nothing wrong. So I was just like, nope, I can't do it. I said, because if I mess around and abort this baby and not have it, I said, I'll never forgive myself and I'll be miserable my whole life. I said, it's not even, it stopped, my camera stopped. But I was like, it's not even worth it. So I was just like, okay, I just got to build up the courage to tell them. All right. Keep in mind, I found out I was pregnant Friday. And I'm telling myself, I don't know when I'm going to tell my parents. I said, but I'm going to wait. Like, I'm going to wait it out as long as I can till I'm, you know, like really far along. And at that point, it really be pointless for them to even, you know, say anything to me. So, me being me, my, you know, I don't know the word for it, but me not being able to hold water, me not being able to deal with a guilty conscience, I called my mama Saturday morning, the next morning, crying. My mom was at the, she was at the beauty shop getting her hair done. I called her early Saturday morning. So I called her, I was like, Mom, I messed up. I did something really bad. And she was just like, you know, calm down. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, I made a mistake. Like, I made a big mistake. And she was like, Monica, like, what are you talking about? Like, what's wrong? I said, I took a test and I'm pregnant. And she was like, you serious? She said something to the effect of like, are you playing? You serious? Stop playing. Like, it was something like that. But she should have known by my tears, like how I sounded on the phone. Like, I was boo-hooing. I hadn't called my mama boo-hooing in God knows how long. And so she was like, just calm down. It's going to be okay. She said, I'm at the beauty shop getting my hair done. I'll call you back. And when I say there was so much weight off my shoulders, I was just like, okay. I told her. But she was at the beauty shop, so I know she wasn't going to turn up on me while she was getting her hair done. So then I was just like, okay. Like, I told her. I said, but she got to call me back. And when she called me back, she going to go in on me. I said, but at least it's already out. And so I can't remember if I told him I told her or not. No, I think I did. Matter of fact, I think he was working because he works from home. So I think he was working. I called her crying when I was in the shower. So I got out. Of course, my face all crazy looking because I just got done crying. He was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I told her. He was like, you told her? Like, you told her? He was like, oh, my God. Like, now that I got to tell my folks now. And I felt so much better. But this the gag, though. I'm such a baby or whatever the case may be. Keep in mind, I went to MT, so I lived in Nashville. I drove 3 hours home that same day to go home to Memphis so I can be with my mama because I just felt like, okay, I need to go home. I need to go home. As soon as I got home, my grandma was there, my auntie was there. And so my mom was the only person that knew. And my sisters, they were at home too. And so it was awkward. I'm like, dang, did my aunt know? Did she tell my grandma? I'm like, I'm not ready to tell them. Like, I just told her 3-4 hours ago. I'm not ready to tell the whole world just yet. So my dad comes home. My mom and dad, they in the they down the hall in their room. They saying, I know my mom like, you know, Monica, come here. And then she called my 2 sisters in the room. And so I'm just like, oh, God, like, my heart just like this. I'm like, what is this about? Like, why is she calling us all in here? Like, it's a meeting or something. So she put me on the spot. We all get in there. We looking at each other like, what's this about? Of course, I know that she knows something that the rest of these people don't know. So she just busts out, Monica, you got something you want to say? And I'm just looking at her like, girl, what you mean? Like, I just told you this, and it was hard. I'm like, I'm not ready to say this in front of Daddy. Now, my little sisters, I didn't mind, you know, telling them that, like, I mean, they my little sisters. I mean, what they going to do with me? Like, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about telling him. And so it's like, what could I do at that point if she didn't call me in here? She didn't call everybody like it's a meeting, and she put me on the spot like, okay, you finna tell them. And so I'm getting nervous. I'm just looking. I'm just like, okay, how do I phrase this? I'm like, I took a test. And it came back positive, which could have meant anything. I could have been talking about I had a freaking STD or something and it came back positive. So after I did it, I'm like, dang, I should have worded that a little better. But I guess they put 2 and 2 together. I mean, I wouldn't be sharing with the world if I had a disease. So my sisters, they didn't say nothing. My daddy, I kind of saw his eyes kind of fill up a little bit. And he was just like, are you going to finish school? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm too close. I was, you know, a senior at the time. I'm like, I'm too close. Like, I'm going to finish school. And he was like, that's cool. And so it was awkward. It was still kind of silent. And then my mom was like, give me a hug. Like, you know, you don't have nothing to worry about. We're going to help you with whatever. And, you know, my dad was, you know, he hugged me too. And when I say that made me feel so much better about the whole thing inside, that made me feel so much better because of course you want to know you have that support from your parents and that you telling them something huge like that they not going to, you know, judge you or make you feel bad about it. And that's honestly what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were going to make me feel bad about it, but they didn't. So I found I was pregnant early. I was like 4 weeks. If it's possible for you to find out you're pregnant when you're 4 weeks, I can't remember. I looked all that stuff up at the time, but if I'm not mistaken, I was like right at a month. I found out early. Okay, so it's like as soon as I found out I was pregnant, that's when all the symptoms and stuff came about. That's when I couldn't keep nothing down. That's when I was throwing up all freaking day. That's when I was really sleeping all freaking day. I can't say I just had any weird cravings or nothing like that, but I always wanted sweet stuff. And for me, I satisfied my sweet cravings with fruit because fruit at the time was the only thing I could hold down. I was throwing up left and right. I would take water. I'll throw up some doggone water. One day I was at work. I was throwing up apples. Like, it was bad. It was really, really bad. it's like I jinxed myself by taking that test and knowing I was pregnant. And that's when everything just hit me. Yeah, that's when everything hit me. Morning sickness, fatigue. Maybe I was a little bloated. I still didn't have like a stomach or nothing yet. So I think those were really just my only two major symptoms. Being tired all the time and throwing up. And the crazy thing is, you hear morning sickness and you obviously think, okay, you only throwing up in the morning. Like you wake up, you throwing up. But for me, my sickness mostly happened at night. I used to throw up when I brushed my teeth. Before I got pregnant, I hated how toothpaste tasted anyway. I hate mint. I can't do nothing peppermint, nothing mint, spearmint. I can't do it. So you already know I was really wore out with it when I was pregnant. So I used to dread brushing my teeth because it never felt. Every time I brushed my freaking teeth, I hated it. So I used to throw up then. I tried to eat me a little breakfast before I went on campus to go to classes. So I used to have a full day of classes, and some days I used to have to leave campus and go straight to work. So of course I used to try to eat, couldn't hold none of that stuff down. And the shift I worked, I used to work to closing at the day camp. We closed at 6. So around 6 o'clock I used to be done for. I used to be through. Like that's when it really hit me the worst at night, especially when I was at work. Yeah, that's when it hit me the worst. And that's when I realized, all right, morning sickness, it's not only for the mornings. You get sick whenever that baby feel like making you sick. So I was, after I got, like that confirmation from my parents that everything was going to be cool, I was like, all right, like I'm cool. So I was really excited. I started looking up stuff. I downloaded a few pregnancy apps that would tell me week by week how my body was changing and how my little one was growing and developing. And they used to excite me. Like I used to look forward week by week to see what things were developing on this child. So when I was pregnant, me and my boyfriend both was like, okay, we want a son. We want a boy. Ever since I was little, I always said I wanted a boy. I didn't want a little girl. And by me being somewhat a girly girl, people automatically assumed, oh, Monica, she wants to have a little girl. Monica did not want no little girl. And God knew not to give me no little girl because he knew I wouldn't know what to do with her. Everything, like, I shouldn't have thought this way. Because regardless, I was going to be happy, grateful, blessed for whatever God would have blessed me with. But I'm just like, everything negative that comes with having a daughter, because it's pros and cons to having both sexes. But every con that came with having a girl was the only thing in my head, and I wasn't trying to deal with it. And I used to look at old wives' tales. Of course, they're not scientific, no proof about it. But, I mean, that was the best thing I had to try to guess what, I was carrying. And so everything that said, oh, if you got morning sickness, you having a girl. Oh, you craving, like, if I'm not mistaken, it was sweet stuff. Oh, you're craving sweet stuff, you're having a girl. Another wise tale said that if you're pregnant with a girl, they steal your beauty so you get ugly. I felt like I was so ugly when I was pregnant, partially because I didn't care about myself. I didn't care what I looked like. I told you that already. But I was having real bad breakouts. Like my face was doing weird stuff. I never had bad skin other than when I was coming into puberty. I had acne just like every other girl did. But my face was freaking out like I was a teenager going through puberty all over again. And I just felt ugly. Like my eyebrows were thinning out, so I looked retarded without eyebrows. My hair was thinning out. I was just like, wow, like I'm really pregnant with a girl. I said, but dang, I really hope it's a boy, but dang, like all these wives' tales are telling me I'm having a girl. My mama wanted me to have a girl. Everybody was like, oh, it's a girl. Like you're pregnant with a girl. And so in the back of my mind, I'm accepting it. I'm like, yeah, like everything's saying you're having a girl. I even did like the Chinese calendar. I think it's how like the Japanese Chinese calendar, where it tells you based on when you conceived what your gender would be. And it said I was having a girl. And I was like, yep, it's a girl. So that's pretty much about my symptoms. Really just me not being able to eat none, throwing up, and being tired. That's pretty much all I had. So I'm going to fast forward to when I was 20 weeks pregnant. This is important. When I was 20 weeks pregnant, that's when you go get your anatomy scan. So I went and got my anatomy scan done, and I found out I was having a boy. And I was so excited. I might insert a clip of that at the appointment when we found out I was having a boy. The night before, I was getting no sleep because I was on edge. I'm like, ooh, I hope it's a boy. I hope it's a boy. But I'm like, dang, I know it's a girl. I know it's a girl. But I know all moms be like that before they have that anatomy scan or whatever appointment where they found out the gender of their baby. Because while I was pregnant, sometimes I used to dream of a little girl. I never could see her face, but it was always me talking to my daughter. And if I'm not mistaken, I guess like the wives' tale said too, that if you're dreaming about a girl, then you're having the opposite sex, like you're having a boy. And then sometimes I dream about a boy. So you dream about a boy, that means you're having a girl. So I want to say I had equal amount of dreams about boys and girls, so I really didn't know. But I knew I wasn't pregnant with twins. I knew that it was a wrap for that. I wasn't even worried about that. So I didn't even take that as, oh, you having a boy and a girl. So the night before, I'm on edge. I remember the date. It was February 9th. February 9th was the day I get my anatomy scan, and I found out if I'm having a baby boy or a baby girl. So we get to the doctor. We find out I'm having a boy. So we're all excited. You know, we already planned ahead of time where I wanted to eat after, you know, to celebrate, you know, finding out the gender. So everything's all good. You know, she tells me the gender. She wraps up her scan. And so she tells me I can get back dressed. And she told my family they could leave. And so after I got back dressed, they brought in another like tech or nurse or whatever, and she checked my cervix. And ooh, I hated getting my cervix checked. I remember my first visit when I had a lady nurse, actually, my first prenatal visit. She messed around and put her whole fist up there. I was just like, wow, like I gotta go through this my whole pregnancy. I wanted to cry. That was the worst feeling ever. And I like to think that I'm pretty good with pain. I'm just like, I feel violated. Like, you literally put your whole fist. That's something else. I won't even go into detail. It's just bad. If you had a baby before, you know what I'm talking about. When they're checking your cervix and they be real aggressive down there. And it's like they have no regard, no concern. And I'm thinking she a lady. She supposed to be gentle. She supposed to be delicate. She didn't care. Anyway, they checked my cervix. But this time they didn't use their hand. They used like a little, I guess like a little probe thing. And so she got done with that. And so she was like, okay, go sit in the waiting room. I'm going to see if the doctor needs to speak with you. And so long story short, she's like, your cervix is really short. She was like, at this point, your cervix, why can't I talk? Your cervix needed to be around 3 centimeters or maybe 4 centimeters. And she was like, yours is less than a millimeter. And she was like, and I need you to go to the hospital now. She said, as soon as y'all leave here, I need you to go to the hospital. She said, you may have to get surgery. I'm not sure. She was like, but I already called the hospital. I told them y'all are on your way. She said, be prepared to go home and pack you a night bag for a couple of days. So, of course, I'm just like, everybody, all my family, we just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean she may have to have surgery? Like, in the room, they made it seem like everything was fine, but now y'all saying she got to go to the hospital. I got to go to the hospital, and I might have to get surgery because my cervix is nowhere near where it needs to be. So we left the doctor. I went to my apartment. I packed clothes for a couple nights, and we went straight to the hospital. And so I got admitted. They had already told me, like, after they checked my cervix, they're like, you're going to be here a while. And they told me from the jump, they said, you probably going to be put on bed rest. And I'm thinking, okay, bed rest a couple days or whatever. And, you know, as I'm talking to the doctors while I'm there, they're like, you know, we don't know when you're leaving the hospital. And they're asking me questions like, are you in school? Do you work? I'm like, yeah, I work. Yeah, I'm in school. And they were like, well, you may as well be prepared to be at home and not be at work and not be at school. So be prepared pretty much to tell them you're not showing up. And so I don't want to say I don't take stuff serious, But it's like, I guess I'm kind of like everybody. When you hear something bad, or I guess like negative, or how certain things could affect you negatively, it's like you kind of shrug it off and be like, oh, like, that's not gonna happen to me, or, you know, I'll be fine, I'll be straight, you know, I'll be good, because I felt fine. It was like, you know, did you ever have like a lot of pressure down there, or really cramp bad? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I had a few cramps, but it was nothing to where I felt like I needed to go to the ER and get it looked at. So they were shocked about that. And I ended up being in the hospital 5 days. After 5 days, they released me from the hospital, but they put me on bed rest. So I was 20 weeks pregnant. The same day I found out I was having a boy, I got admitted into the hospital, and I had a 5-day stay at the hospital. So before they discharged me from the hospital, they gave me all the paperwork I needed to give to my professors and give to my job, saying she's going to be on bed rest until further notice. And for them, when they were saying further notice, they really, you know, anticipated on me having to deliver my baby early. They were like, you know, it'll be a blessing if you can get to 28 weeks and we could shoot to try to deliver your baby at 28 weeks, you know, because they really felt like he was going to come early. And if your cervix is already that little, that means it's getting ready to push a baby out. So they were trying to keep me as pregnant as long as possible. So of course, why can't I talk? So of course I was worried about having my baby too early, because I knew he had a lot of growing and a lot of developing to do. And like any other parent, I don't want nothing wrong with my baby. I'm gonna love my baby regardless, but I don't want anything wrong with my baby. So I was like, okay, they want me to be on bed rest. They said no driving. Only walking I need to do is to the bathroom and back. Don't lift nothing heavy, you know, for real, just being in the bed. The whole pregnancy, it was one time I went to the doctor because they had me seeing my regular OBGYN, and then they also had me seeing a high-risk doctor. So I used to have to go to my high-risk doctor every week. And if I'm not mistaken, I went to my regular OBG like every other week. I had doctor's appointments all the time. I was always at the doctor. That was the only place that really wanted me to go. And so I had one visit, and they told me, okay, it looks like your cervix is improving. I forgot to mention that in order to improve my cervix, they said they wanted me on bed rest, and they gave me two things. I had a vaginal suppository that was like hormone, so I had to take that to strengthen my cervix. And then they also put me on, I can't think of what's it called, but they also put me on another medicine to keep me from having contractions. Because when I was in the hospital, they had me hooked up on monitors monitoring my contractions, and I was having contractions all the time and I didn't even know it. And when you contract, you are making that cervix, like, you know, open up more. So and they had me on those things. So I had to do my suppository every night. I had to take my medicine to keep me from contracting every 6 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So I had to have it like on a schedule of when I took it. So one visit, they were like, okay, your cervix has improved. It's no longer like under a centimeter. Like now you're at, you know, whatever centimeter they told me. And they said you may be able to go back to work. Long story short, they wrote me a note saying I can go back to work. I had an appointment probably 2 days after they said I can go back to work. It was like, nope, your cervix is, you know, not doing good anymore. It's no longer improving. We're taking you back off work. And I was just like, dang, I only ran up a check for like a day or two. And y'all telling me I got to, you know, go back home, be back on bed rest. So I was on bed rest my entire pregnancy. So from 20 weeks on, I was on bed rest. So that's going to do it for part 1 of, what do I want to call this? I guess my pregnancy / delivery process, talk through. I don't know what I want to call it, but it's going to be 2 parts. It cut off again, but it's going to be 2 parts. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know it is extremely long. I'm trying not to make the second part as long, but the second part, I do want to talk about my other complications I had with my pregnancy, other than me having a short cervix, and then I think I'll combine that with my delivery experience. So thank you guys for watching this extremely long video. I hope it was enjoyable. Be sure to like this video, comment on it, say whatever you want. I don't care. Comment, say something. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. And then share my video. Let, you know, if you know somebody that's pregnant and, you know, they like I was, they was like a geek for the stuff and they was on YouTube all the time trying to learn as much as they can and hear as many testimonies as they can, tell them about my video. And that's all I got for y'all tonight. Good night.